Humanity's betrayal by the Galactic Council met the wrath of our fleet. Humanity had always believed that being part of the Galactic Council meant safety. For nearly 30 years, humans had worked alongside dozens of alien species, learning their ways, trading technology, and sharing knowledge. Earth had its representative, Daniel Brooks, a man in his late 40s who had spent more years in council chambers than at home with his family. He believed in diplomacy. He believed that talking, explaining, and proving one's honesty was enough to prevent disaster. Captain Ethan Cole stood on the bridge of the Valiant Horizon, the flagship of Earth's deep space fleet. The ship was massive, sleek, and armed with weapons that could rival the Council's smaller battleships. Ethan had been a fighter pilot, a hero in the last skirmish near the Orion outpost, but this was different. He was now in command of a ship full of crew who trusted him not just with their lives, but with humanity's future. Beside him, Commander Olivia Grant studied a holographic display of human colonies in the Outer Rim. Olivia was calm and precise, the kind of person who could find a hidden signal in a storm of cosmic interference. She had served with Ethan for over a decade and knew him better than anyone else. "Captain," Olivia said, her voice steady, "we're picking up unusual council signals near 3 of our outer colonies. They're encrypted, but it looks like a blockade." Ethan frowned. "A blockade?" "They wouldn't do that without warning." Olivia shook her head. "That's why I'm worried." In the communications room, Dr. Lucas Bennett was trying to intercept council messages. Lucas was a civilian science advisor, brilliant in theory but inexperienced in battle. His hands flew over the controls, trying to decode a message that seemed designed to confuse. "It's not just a warning," Lucas said, his voice tense. "They're moving ships into orbit around the colonies, and they're cutting all communications. If this continues, those colonies will be completely isolated within the hour." Ethan clenched his jaw. "Alert Admiral Morgan immediately. All fleets must be on standby." Admiral Grace Morgan, the head of Earth's Deep Space Command, was waiting on a secure line. She was a tall woman with silver hair and eyes that had seen too many battles to trust easily. "Ethan," she said without greeting, "I've just received the Council's official statement. They claim humanity has violated the Precursor Accord. They say we've been developing weapons based on ancient technology." Ethan felt his stomach tighten. "Weapons? That's absurd. We've only been studying the relics for defensive purposes." "I know," Grace replied, "but the Council doesn't care about truth right now. Their fleet is already moving to enforce the blockade. They've labeled it a security operation." Daniel Brooks, back on Earth, sat in the council chamber, listening to the meeting with growing disbelief. He could hear the voices of alien ambassadors, some firm, some hesitant, all pointing fingers at humanity. "Daniel," one alien representative said, a tall figure with translucent skin that shimmered with inner light, "the precursor weapons are far too dangerous to remain in human hands. You must surrender them immediately." Daniel's voice was firm, though it trembled slightly. "These are only experiments intended to protect our colonies from threats. Humanity has no desire to attack the Council or its members." "Intentions do not matter," another alien said, their voice mechanical and cold. "The risk is too great. You must comply or face consequences." Daniel's hands shook as he realized the weight of the betrayal. For years, humanity had followed the Council's rules. They had shared discoveries, contributed fleets, and participated in diplomatic missions. And now, with no warning, they were being treated like criminals. Back on the Valiant Horizon, Ethan Cole prepared his fleet. He had 12 ships under his command, each carrying hundreds of crew and advanced weaponry. Yet the feeling of helplessness grew in him. 2 colonies were already under blockade, and if the Council acted quickly, they would be lost. "Ethan, incoming distress signals," Olivia said, her fingers dancing across the controls. "Outer Rim colonies Sigma and Delta are reporting heavy fire. They're asking for immediate reinforcements." Ethan's face tightened. "We're moving at maximum warp, prepare defensive shields and launch fighters. We may not be able to save them both." As the fleet jumped into the Outer Rim, Lucas monitored the energy signatures of the Council's ships. "Captain," he said, "they've upgraded their weapons with new energy disruptors. Shields may fail faster than expected. We need a strategy that doesn't rely on pure defense." Ethan turned to Olivia. "I want evasive maneuvers. Draw them out, then hit weak points. We can't match them ship for ship, but we can be smarter." Hours passed, and the valiant Horizon approached Sigma Colony. Smoke rose from the planet's surface, and cities that had thrived for decades were now under attack. The Council's warships hovered like predators, ready to strike any ship that tried to interfere. Ethan activated the fleet's stealth approach, moving silently through the shadow of the planet. All fighters form two squadrons. One goes to protect the colony, the other shadows the Council fleet. We need eyes on them before they detect us. The battle began before the humans could even make full contact. Energy blasts lit the darkness of space, tearing through buildings and ships alike. On the bridge, Ethan's hands moved across controls with precision. Each decision was critical. Every moment of hesitation could cost thousands of lives. "We're too late for some areas," Lucas said quietly, "but we can still protect the population centers." Olivia adjusted the fleet's trajectory. Firing defensive drones now, they should intercept incoming blasts. The drones formed shimmering shields around critical areas, absorbing most of the damage, but several Council ships broke through. Human fighters engaged them directly, dodging and weaving, targeting weak spots in alien hulls. Meanwhile, on Delta Colony, civilians scrambled for cover. The Council's energy disruptors caused blackouts and power surges. Buildings shook, and communication networks went offline. Daniel Brooks, watching from Earth, could only pray that the fleet would arrive in time. Ethan received fragments of transmissions from the colonies. Voices filled with panic and anger reached him across the void. "Help us," one called. "We're being destroyed," another screamed. Ethan clenched his jaw. "Stay calm, hold on, we're coming." He ordered the fleet to split, sending one group to engage the Council warships directly, while another moved to evacuate civilians using emergency shuttles. The Council's ships were heavily armed, but they did not expect such a coordinated human response. Ethan's fighters darted through enemy lines, striking and retreating, while drones continued to shield vital structures. Olivia monitored every movement, giving precise instructions that saved countless lives. Lucas, meanwhile, studied the energy patterns of the Council weapons. "Captain, their disruptors are designed to disable shields in a specific frequency range. If we adjust ours slightly, we can withstand their attacks for longer periods." Ethan nodded. "Do it. Every second counts." As the battle raged, Daniel Brooks received disturbing news from Council insiders. The accusation of precursor weapon development was a lie. Certain Council members had planned this attack for months, seeking to weaken humanity and claim its colonies for themselves. The betrayal was deliberate, personal, and calculated. Back on the valiant Horizon, Ethan felt the weight of the situation. His fleet was fighting not just to save colonies, but to prove humanity's right to exist among the stars. Every decision mattered. Every failure would cost lives. Hours later, after relentless fighting, Sigma Colony was partially saved. Several Council ships had been destroyed, but civilian losses were high. The fleet moved to Delta Colony, facing a similar situation. The Council forces were relentless, and the human fleet was beginning to show signs of fatigue. Ethan paced the bridge. "We can't keep this up forever. The Council has resources we can't match. We need a new plan." Olivia nodded. "We need to strike at their command structure. If we can disrupt leadership, the rest may retreat or hesitate." Lucas added, "And I may have a way. The precursor research we've done can help us. It's defensive, yes, but it can be adapted for a surprise countermeasure." Ethan looked at him, hope sparking. "Then prepare it. We may not have another chance." Meanwhile, Daniel Brooks watched the Council chambers descend into chaos. Some members were calling for mercy, some for war, but the truth was now visible to everyone. Humanity had been loyal, helpful, and peaceful, and yet they had been betrayed. He pressed a button on his desk and broadcast a message to all Council members. "Humanity has not attacked. These colonies are under threat because of false accusations. The truth is clear. We seek justice, not war, but we will defend ourselves." The message spread across Council networks, causing murmurs among alien populations. Questions were raised, doubts grew, and divisions started to appear. Back on the valiant Horizon, Ethan prepared for the next move. His fleet had survived the first wave, but the war was just beginning. The betrayal of the Council had changed everything. No longer could humanity rely on diplomacy alone. Now, survival, strategy, and courage would define the future. As the stars stretched ahead of them, the human fleet moved forward, ready to fight not just for colonies, but for the honor and future of their species. The Council had underestimated humanity's resolve, and that mistake would soon be their greatest regret. The first battle was over. Humanity had been betrayed. Humanity had suffered. But humanity had not fallen, and in the shadows of space, the seeds of resistance and wrath were quietly growing. Ethan Cole stared at the endless void, feeling both the weight of loss and the spark of determination. "This is just the beginning," he said. And somewhere far across the stars, the Council would soon realize that betrayal was a dangerous thing to throw at humanity. The battle for the outer colonies had ended, but the cost weighed heavily on everyone. Sigma and Delta colonies had been damaged, but many civilians had survived thanks to the quick action of the human fleet. Yet even with the immediate danger over, the reality of betrayal hung over humanity like a dark cloud. Captain Ethan Cole paced the bridge of the Valiant Horizon. His crew worked silently, repairing shields, recalibrating weapons, and checking supplies. The first shock of the Council's attack had passed, but there was no rest. Every ship in the fleet carried the knowledge that the Council could strike again at any moment. "We can't fight them head-on for long," Ethan said quietly to Olivia Grant. "Their fleets are too big. We need a plan that gives us an advantage." Olivia studied the star charts. "We've already learned a lot from their first attack. Their formations, their energy frequencies, even their reaction times. If we can use that, we can stay ahead." Ethan nodded. "And we need to protect the colonies. We can't let them attack more worlds while we're planning." Doctor. Lucas Bennett adjusted his glasses and looked at a series of holographic diagrams showing the energy patterns of Council weapons. "Captain, I've been studying the precursor technology we recovered. It's not a weapon of attack. It's defensive. But I think we can adapt it to give our ships a real edge." "How?" Ethan asked, leaning closer. Lucas smiled faintly. "The energy lattice in the precursor devices can absorb and redirect energy. If we calibrate it correctly, we can turn the Council's weapons against them. Their disruptors won't just fail, they could backfire." Ethan's face lit up. "Then we need it ready immediately. Get a team together and start modifications. Olivia, coordinate with engineering. Lucas, you have my full support." Meanwhile, on Earth, Daniel Brooks was working tirelessly. He had survived Council politics for decades, but nothing had prepared him for this. The Council had betrayed humanity, and now the challenge was to prove the truth and rally support without letting panic spread. He gathered other human diplomats and scientists for a secret meeting. "The Council's accusations are lies," Daniel said, pointing to intercepted messages and satellite images of their attacks. "We have proof. They planned this to weaken us. We cannot let fear guide us. We need a response that is clear, strong, and calculated." One of the younger diplomats, Rachel Mitchell, spoke up. "Daniel, what can we do? Their fleets are bigger and they have more advanced technology." "If we strike, we risk more colonies and lives." Daniel nodded. "That's why we won't strike blindly. We will respond smartly. Our fleet has survived their first attack. That means they underestimate us. We will use that." Back on the Valiant Horizon, Ethan watched the fleet as it moved toward a hidden staging area near a gas giant in the Orion sector. This was a place the Council would not expect them to regroup. Repairs were underway, and engineers worked around the clock. Olivia walked up beside Ethan. "The crews are nervous," she said. "They don't understand everything that's happening, but they trust us." Ethan gave a small smile. "That's enough. Trust is what keeps people alive when the odds are against them, and we can't let fear take over." Lucas joined them, holding a small holographic device. "We've completed the first phase of modifications. The lattice can now redirect energy in bursts. If we engage a Council ship, it should overload their disruptors." Ethan nodded slowly. "Good. This gives us a fighting chance." Admiral Grace Morgan called in on the secure channel. "Captain, Daniel Brooks has confirmed what we feared. The Council is planning to divide our colonies among neighboring species. They see humanity as a problem to be eliminated. You need to prepare for a larger engagement." Ethan clenched his fists. "We expected this. We'll be ready." The fleet spent several days preparing. Supplies were replenished, weapons upgraded, and crews trained for the upcoming conflict. The precursor lattice became the fleet's secret advantage, though only a few trusted officers knew the full details. During this time, the human fleet began small, targeted strikes to test their modified systems. They attacked Council supply convoys and outposts, taking care to avoid civilian casualties. Each successful mission bolstered morale and proved that humanity could fight back. One night, as the fleet rested in the shadow of a massive gas giant, Ethan walked alone along the observation deck. Stars stretched endlessly before him, and he thought about everything that had happened. The Council had betrayed them, attacked their colonies, and falsely accused them of crimes. Yet humanity was still standing. Olivia joined him quietly. "Thinking too much?" she asked. Ethan shook his head. "Just thinking." The Council thought they could scare us, divide us, and weaken us. They misjudged human resolve. Olivia looked at him seriously. "They will strike again, and next time it won't just be colonies. They'll target Earth itself if they think we're weak." Ethan's eyes hardened. "Then we won't be weak. We'll make sure they regret this." Meanwhile, Daniel Brooks continued his diplomatic efforts. He sent messages to other Council species, showing evidence of the betrayal. Some species expressed sympathy, but fear of the Council's power kept them silent. A few quietly began to prepare for the possibility that the Council might overreach and cause more instability. Back in space, Ethan received a report from scouts. "Captain, a Council fleet is moving toward the outer colonies again." Estimates indicated is twice the size of the last engagement. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then we make them pay for underestimating us. Prepare for full engagement. Olivia, Lucas, everyone, this is it. Use everything we have." The Valiant Horizon led the fleet into position. They used stealth approaches and evasive maneuvers, avoiding the Council's main fleet while striking supply ships and smaller escorts. The precursor lattice worked perfectly, absorbing incoming energy and redirecting it back at enemy ships. Several Council vessels were destroyed before they could even react. Lucas monitored energy outputs with a mix of fear and excitement. "Captain, the lattice is holding. If we maintain this, we can take out their main weapons systems before they realize what's happening." Ethan nodded. "Good, keep it steady. Don't let them panic us." During the battle, Olivia coordinated fighter squadrons. They darted through enemy formations, hitting weak points and drawing attention away from the fleet's main ships. Each move was precise, practiced, and deadly. The Council's commanders had expected chaos. Instead, they found method and intelligence. Hours passed. The Council fleet began to falter. Some ships retreated, others were disabled. Humanity's fleet, smaller but smarter, had gained the upper hand. For the first time, the Council realized that they had underestimated the humans. Meanwhile, Daniel Brooks broadcast a message to the Council and its member species. "The truth is clear. Humanity has not attacked first. The Council has betrayed its own principles. We are not here to destroy, but we will defend ourselves and our colonies. Any further attacks will meet full resistance." The message caused unrest in Council worlds. Questions were asked, doubts spread, and divisions began to appear. Not all species trusted the Council's leadership, and many began to reconsider their alliances. After the engagement, the human fleet regrouped. Repairs were made, casualties counted, and survivors helped. For the first time, hope began to replace fear. Humanity had proven that it could fight and survive even against betrayal. Ethan looked at his crew, proud. "You've done well. Today we showed the Council that humanity cannot be crushed, but the war is not over. We need to keep moving, keep fighting smart, and protect our people." Olivia stood beside him. "And we will. The fleet is ready, Captain. Humanity will not be broken." Lucas added quietly, "The precursor technology may give us a chance to end this if we use it carefully. We can hit the Council where it hurts most." Ethan nodded, feeling determination rise. "Then we prepare. Tomorrow we take the fight closer to the Council itself. They betrayed us once. They will not survive a second chance." As the Valiant Horizon and its fleet moved through space, the stars seemed to shine brighter. Humanity had been betrayed, yes, but it had also discovered its strength, courage, and intelligence. The fleet was no longer just a line of ships. It was a symbol of human determination, unity, and resilience. In the Council worlds, whispers began. Some wondered if humanity had been underestimated, if their strength and strategy were greater than anyone realized. Others doubted their leaders' choices. One thing was certain: humanity had awakened and its wrath was only beginning. And so, as the fleet prepared for the next engagement, a new chapter in the war began. The Council had shown its betrayal. Humanity would show its resolve. The fight would not just be for survival. It would be for justice, honor, and the right to exist among the stars. Ethan stood on the bridge, watching distant lights of the fleet stretching into the void. He felt the weight of responsibility, but also the spark of hope. "We've survived the first strike," he said quietly. "Now we fight back, not recklessly, not blindly, but with all our strength and all our mind. The Council will remember this day." And somewhere far away, the Council's leaders felt the first tremors of fear. Humanity had risen from betrayal, and it was ready to strike with intelligence, precision, and wrath. The war had only just begun, but humanity's spirit burned brighter than ever. The human fleet moved quietly through the edge of Council space, each ship careful to avoid detection. The valiant Horizon led the formation, its engines glowing softly against the blackness of space. Captain Ethan Cole stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the starfield ahead, his mind already calculating the next moves. Every decision mattered. Every moment could change the fate of humanity. Olivia Grant stood beside him, fingers resting lightly on the console. "Scouts report Council ships in patrol patterns," she said. "They don't know we are this close yet." Ethan nodded. "Good, keep it that way. Lucas, how's the lattice functioning?" Dr. Lucas Bennett tapped his controls nervously. "It's holding perfectly. If we time our attack right, we can hit their weapons systems before they even know what's happening. Their shields won't stand a chance." Ethan took a deep breath. "Then we wait for the right moment. I want minimal civilian risk and maximum Council impact. We don't waste what we have." The fleet moved into position near a system the Council used as a staging area. Massive ships floated in orbit around a gas giant, their weapons bristling and ready. These were not small patrols. This was a substantial portion of the Council fleet, and they had no idea humanity was watching. Daniel Brooks on Earth had been coordinating with allies in the Council. Some species, quietly sympathetic to humanity, provided intelligence. Ships' positions, weapon capabilities, and patrol schedules were all forwarded in secret. Daniel had risked everything, but it had given the fleet an advantage. "Captain," Olivia said, "we have a clear window. They'll rotate their patrols in 30 standard minutes." "That's our chance to strike." Ethan nodded. "All ships prepare for full engagement. Target their weapons arrays first, then disrupt command and control. Remember, we are precise, not reckless. Our goal is to disable, not destroy indiscriminately." Lucas checked the lattice one final time. "Ready. This will work if we keep calm. Just follow my signals." The valiant Horizon led the fleet into the edge of the Council system. Human fighters moved like shadows among the larger ships, cloaked and silent. Energy pulses from the lattice flowed through the fleet, invisible but powerful, ready to turn the Council's own weapons against them. Suddenly, a Council ship detected movement. "They've noticed us," a pilot shouted. Ethan's voice came calm and firm. "Hold position. Wait for the signal. Olivia, keep coordination tight. Lucas, now." A wave of energy burst outward from the lattice, invisible at first. Then Council weapons began to fail. Energy disruptors overloaded and backfired. Blasts intended for human ships exploded harmlessly into space or damaged Council vessels instead. The Council fleet panicked. Ships tried to regroup, but their communications were jammed by the lattice, leaving commanders unable to coordinate. Human fighters darted between them, striking weak points and drawing fire away from the main fleet. Olivia guided the fighters with precision. "2 squadrons to the left flank. Protect the Horizon. Hit the lead Council ship." Ethan watched the Council fleet struggle. "Keep pressure on them. We have the advantage. Use it smartly." Lucas monitored energy levels. "Captain, the lattice can hold one more large burst. If we target the command ship now, we can disable their entire fleet in this system." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Do it. But make sure our ships are clear." A massive Council ship, larger than any human battleship, activated its main weapons. Its energy beams cut across space towards smaller Council escorts. Lucas signaled the lattice, and the energy burst redirected the attack back at the Council ship itself. The vessel shuddered under its own weapons, alarms flashing across its deck. Ethan ordered the fleet to advance. "Move in, target command systems, strike precise, not reckless. We take control of the situation." The human ships moved like a wave, striking with timing and coordination the Council had never seen. Their weapons were strong but slow. Humanity's fleet was smaller but faster and smarter. Each strike counted. Meanwhile, Daniel Brooks received reports from within Council worlds. Citizens on multiple planets had begun to question their leaders. "Why attack humans first?" one ambassador asked secretly. "They have done no harm." The leaders of the council tried to regroup, but confusion spread quickly. Several ships withdrew without orders, leaving gaps in their formation. Humanity's fleet exploited every weakness. Ethan watched the battle unfold. Focus on their command centers. Disable them, then withdraw if needed. We do not overextend. Olivia's voice came steady and calm. Command ship is vulnerable. Fighters moving in now. The human squadron struck at the command vessel, disabling its engines and weapons with careful precision. Council crews scrambled, unable to counter the well-coordinated human attack. The fleet's morale began to collapse as ships around the command vessel lost power. Lucas breathed a sigh of relief. It's working. The lattice held perfectly. They won't recover quickly. Ethan allowed himself a brief smile. Good. Maintain pressure, but don't take unnecessary risks. The Council's fleet was now in disarray. Ships collided with one another, energy fields failed, and fighters moved without orders. Human ships remained in control, striking only where needed to ensure maximum impact with minimal loss. During the battle, Olivia noticed something troubling. Captain, several Council ships are attempting to escape to other systems. If they warn the rest of the Council, this advantage may be lost, Ethan considered. We intercept and disable. No unnecessary destruction, but we can't let them regroup. The fleet split, a portion following escaping vessels while the main body continued to disable command and weapon systems. Human fighters pursued Council ships, their speed and agility unmatched. Energy bursts from the lattice made the Council's shields ineffective, allowing precise strikes. Lucas monitored power levels across the fleet. Captain, we're holding, but prolonged use of the lattice could overheat our systems. We need to end the main strike soon. Ethan nodded. Then finish it. Target remaining command nodes and withdraw. Within hours, the Council fleet in the system was crippled. Their command ship was disabled, weapons arrays destroyed, and many vessels either destroyed or incapacitated. Humanity's fleet had not only survived, but had dominated the battle without losing a single colony or critical human ship. Daniel Brooks received transmissions from alien allies. The humans have proven themselves, one ambassador said. Their fleet is smart, disciplined, and precise. They cannot be underestimated. The message reached the Council leaders in secret. Some began to panic, realizing that humanity was far stronger than they had believed. Internal divisions deepened. Several species questioned the decision to betray humanity, while others began to consider withdrawing support. Back on the valiant horizon, Ethan surveyed the battlefield. Smoke and debris drifted through space, and the once powerful Council fleet was now scattered and disorganized. He allowed himself a moment to feel pride, but not relief. Olivia approached him. We've done well, but this is only one system. The Council is still strong, and other fleets could respond quickly. Ethan nodded. I know, but this battle has shown them that humanity is not weak. We've proven we can fight smart, defend our colonies, and survive betrayal. Lucas added, and we've tested the precursor lattice. It's more powerful than we expected. With careful planning, it could change the outcome of future battles as well. Ethan considered that. Then we need to plan our next steps carefully. We strike again only when necessary, and we use our advantage wisely. We are not reckless. We are precise. The fleet regrouped and made repairs, taking the spoils of battle with them. Human fighters returned to the valiant horizon for maintenance, and engineers worked tirelessly to ensure the lattice would function in the next engagement. Meanwhile, Daniel Brooks continued his diplomatic efforts. He broadcast the battle results to Council member species, showing humanity's success and the Council leadership's mistakes. Some worlds began to distance themselves from the Council, worried about being ruled by a leadership willing to betray allies. The human fleet's victory became a symbol of hope and resilience. Morale across humanity soared. Citizens and soldiers alike understood that their species had faced betrayal, survived, and struck back with intelligence and courage. Ethan stood on the bridge looking at the stars stretching ahead. He knew the Council would respond, and soon. But humanity had shown its strength, and the first major battle had been won. The fleet was battle-tested, the crew experienced, and the strategy proven. Olivia came to his side quietly. Do you think they'll strike again soon? She asked. Ethan's eyes hardened. They will, but next time we'll be ready. We've learned their weaknesses, tested our strength, and proven our resolve. They will not underestimate humanity again. Lucas added quietly, and we have the technology now to level the field. We may not be the largest fleet, but we can be the smartest and the most effective. Ethan smiled faintly. Then we prepare for the next battle. The Council thought betrayal would destroy us. They were wrong, and the next time we fight, we won't just survive, we'll make them regret ever crossing humanity. As the fleet moved through the stars, readying for future battles, the Council leaders received word of the defeat in their system. Panic spread among them. Their betrayal had not only failed, but had strengthened the humans. They had underestimated the resolve, intelligence, and courage of a species they had assumed would bow to power. Ethan looked forward, knowing that the war was far from over. But humanity had taken its first decisive step. They had survived betrayal, fought with skill, and proven their strength. And now, with the precursor lattice ready and the fleet battle hardened, they were prepared for whatever the Council would throw at them next. The stars seemed brighter, the void quieter, and for the first time in a long time, humanity felt hope. Betrayed but unbroken, the human fleet sailed forward, ready to defend every colony, every life, and every dream of a species that refused to be crushed. Ethan Cole, standing on the bridge of the valiant horizon, felt the weight of the coming battles. He knew loss would come, but so would triumph. Humanity's wrath had begun, and the Council would soon discover that betrayal had awakened something far stronger than fear. And in the vast darkness of space, the first true wave of human resistance had begun. The Council would face it soon, and it would not be gentle. The Council's capital system lay before the human fleet like a sleeping giant. Massive warships floated in orbit around the main planet, and defensive platforms dotted the skies. For years, humanity had respected the Council. For decades, they had trusted them. Now, after betrayal, the Council would learn that trust could not be taken lightly. Captain Ethan Cole stood on the bridge of the valiant horizon, looking at the Council world. "This is it," he said quietly. "We've come too far to turn back now. Today, we take the fight to them, and we make sure humanity is never underestimated again." Olivia Grant studied the star charts and tactical overlays. The Council has their main fleet in orbit, but many ships are still recovering from the last engagement. Their command network is weakened. We have the advantage if we act carefully. Ethan nodded. "Lucas, are the lattices ready?" Dr. Lucas Bennett adjusted the controls. "All systems are green. We can target their weapons and command systems simultaneously. The lattice will hold, but only for short bursts. Timing will be critical." Ethan took a deep breath. "Then we make it count." Admiral Grace Morgan appeared on the secure channel. "Captain, Daniel Brooks has confirmed that some Council worlds are questioning their leadership. The political situation may give us additional leverage if we act decisively." Ethan replied firmly. "Understood. We will strike smart, not recklessly. The fleet is ready." The valiant horizon led the fleet toward the inner system, keeping to shadowed trajectories and using small gravitational fields from asteroids to hide their approach. Human fighters moved like shadows, undetected, ready to strike at precise points. Daniel Brooks monitored the situation from Earth. "This is the moment," he said to himself. "If humanity succeeds, we not only defend ourselves but also show the Council that betrayal carries consequences." As the fleet neared the Council capital, sensors detected active defensive platforms. Ethan gave the order. "All ships, hold formation. We will engage the outer defenses first. Use precision strikes only, no unnecessary destruction." Olivia coordinated the fighters. "Squadron Alpha targets energy turrets on the north side. Squadron Beta covers the horizon. Protect the horizon at all costs." Lucas monitored the lattice. "Ready. This will overload their main weapons in bursts. Once their shields fail, we strike the command vessels directly." The first wave of attacks began. Human fighters darted between defensive turrets, using the lattice to absorb energy bursts and redirect them at the Council platforms. Several turrets exploded under the combined attacks. The Council ships, expecting a frontal assault, were caught off guard. Ethan watched carefully. "Steady, we cannot afford mistakes. Take out the platforms methodically." Hours passed as the fleet dismantled the outer defenses. Council ships attempted to regroup, but communication problems caused chaos. Fighters moved without orders, and many ships collided or were disabled by redirected energy attacks. Meanwhile, Daniel Brooks received secret messages from within the Council. Certain species had grown weary of betrayal. They offered intelligence on remaining fleets and weak points in the capital system. This information allowed the human fleet to act with precise knowledge. Ethan ordered the next phase. Target command ships and central communication nodes. Disable them before the Council can organize a counterattack. Olivia guided the fighter squadrons. Move quickly, hit the weak points, keep our ships safe. The Valiant Horizon led the main fleet forward. The precursor lattice emitted bursts of energy, overloading Council shields. Several command vessels were disabled before crews could respond. Confusion spread through the Council forces as ships lost guidance and communications. Lucas monitored the lattice carefully. One more big burst can disable the rest of their command systems. After that, we withdraw before our own systems overheat. Ethan nodded. Do it. Precision only, no unnecessary risk. A massive wave of energy flowed from the lattice, striking Council ships and defensive structures. Explosions lit the void as platforms collapsed, shields failed, and communication nodes went offline. The Council fleet was paralyzed, unable to coordinate a response. Amid the chaos, human fighters moved with deadly precision. Targets were struck quickly, and escape routes were blocked. The Council commanders had never faced an enemy this disciplined, this careful, and this relentless. Daniel Brooks transmitted a message to all Council worlds. Humanity does not seek destruction, we seek justice. The betrayal of our species has consequences. We defend our colonies, our people, and our right to exist. Any further attacks will be met with full response. The broadcast caused unrest across the Council. Citizens questioned their leaders, and allies began withdrawing support. The Council was crumbling from both inside and outside. On the Valiant Horizon, Ethan received a report. Captain, Council leaders are attempting to evacuate key vessels and personnel. Ethan's face hardened. We cannot allow them to regroup, intercept and disable. Precision strikes only. We don't kill unnecessarily, but we cannot let them escape. The fleet split, intercepting the evacuating ships. Human fighters struck with accuracy, disabling engines and weapon systems. Several key vessels were captured intact, giving humanity proof of the Council's betrayal and critical intelligence. Lucas monitored energy levels closely. Lattice holding, no overloads. We can continue to control the remaining vessels. Ethan nodded. Then finish it, disable all command ships. After that, we withdraw. By the end of the day, the Council fleet was crippled. Their main command vessel was under human control, and many other ships had been disabled or captured. The remaining Council forces were scattered and leaderless. Humanity had struck with precision and discipline, avoiding unnecessary destruction while achieving total control of the battlefield. Daniel Brooks sent another message. The Council's betrayal is exposed. Their leadership is weak, divided, and dishonest. Humanity has defended itself and proved its strength. Any further aggression will meet swift and decisive response. In the Council worlds, panic spread. Some species withdrew support from the leaders. Others began questioning orders. The betrayal that had seemed so clever now appeared reckless and foolish. Back on the Valiant Horizon, Ethan gathered his officers. We've done what we came to do. The Council has been exposed, their fleets crippled, and their command structure broken. Humanity has survived betrayal and fought with precision, but this is not the end. We must ensure this never happens again. Olivia nodded. We've sent a clear message. They will think twice before attacking humanity again. Lucas added quietly, and the lattice proved its power. We now have a strategic advantage humanity has never had before, but we must be careful. Overconfidence is dangerous. Ethan agreed. We will not be reckless. We will be strong, precise, and intelligent. Humanity will not be destroyed. The fleet regrouped and withdrew from the Council system, taking captured ships and disabled vessels with them. Repairs were made, and the crew celebrated quietly, proud of their accomplishment. They had survived betrayal, fought a major battle, and emerged victorious. Daniel Brooks coordinated with allied Council species to establish a new order. Rules were drafted to prevent such betrayal in the future, ensuring transparency and accountability. Humanity did not dissolve the Council, but it ensured that betrayal would not happen again. On the Valiant Horizon, Ethan stood on the bridge watching stars pass by. We've survived, yes. We've won, yes. But we must remember why we fight. Not for revenge, not for glory, but for survival, honor, and the future of our species. Olivia came to stand beside him. Humanity has proven its strength, Ethan. We have courage, intelligence, and unity. The Council will never forget this day. Lucas added, and we've shown that even smaller fleets can defeat larger ones if they are smart, precise, and prepared. Humanity's place in the stars is secure. Ethan smiled faintly. We've done well, but our work is not over. We must protect what we've earned, rebuild what was lost, and be ready for whatever comes next. Humanity has faced betrayal and survived. Now we ensure it never happens again. The fleet moved forward, leaving the council system behind. Across human colonies, citizens celebrated the victory. Humanity had survived betrayal and shown the council its true strength. Stories of courage, intelligence, and precision spread quickly. Humanity was no longer a junior member of the council. It was a force to be respected, feared, and counted on. Daniel Brooks reflected on everything that had happened. Betrayal had come, but humanity had met it with strategy, courage, and unity. The future was uncertain, yes, but hope and strength had been proven. Humanity had not been destroyed. Humanity had grown stronger. Ethan stood on the bridge once more, watching the stars stretch endlessly before him. The fleet had survived the ultimate test. Humanity had survived betrayal, fought with wisdom, and struck with precision. The Council would remember this day forever. And as the fleet moved forward into the unknown reaches of space, humanity knew one thing for certain. Betrayal could awaken wrath, and the wrath of humanity was now wide awake, ready to defend every colony, every life, and every dream of a species that refused to bow. The stars ahead were vast and uncertain, but humanity faced them together, strong, intelligent, and unbroken. The Council had learned a lesson: never betray those who fight not recklessly, but with courage, precision, and heart. And so, in the endless expanse of space, humanity's fleet sailed forward, victorious, aware of its strength, and ready for whatever the universe would bring. Betrayal had come. Humanity had answered, and nothing would ever be the same again.